Hi, welcome to the 2026 Awakening Corsair PvE guide. I'm Seek. In this guide, I'm going to teach you what you need to know about the class, so I get to be a pirate mermaid too. This video is time-stamped to help you out if you want to skip to a specific part, and if you have any questions or anything, you can leave a comment, a like, and please subscribe. The thing I get asked the most is, what is the current state of the class? Like, is this class viable? Is this class as bad as people say it is? And even though this class is like not the worst PvE class out there, it is still a class that you have to work a lot to just get like an average reward at best. So this is not exactly meta, and that's alright. Like, don't get demotivated by it. If you really like it, you can make it work as long as you have the right expectations. Like, as long as you don't expect to be making the same trash as S+++ tier classes, it's going to be alright. Now let's take a look on which skills to lock. On your key window from the menu, you are going to lock Wave Bound. Then you're going to scroll down until you find the evasion roll. You're going to lock it, and then you're going to lock Whirling Slash. You're also going to lock your Transfer Fury. From your Black Spirit setup, you are going to lock your 50%, your Awakening 100%, your Awakening 200%, your 10%, and your Pre-Awakening 200%. On some fights for the Adania bosses, you are going to have this skill unlocked, but this is for the later. Now, let's take a look at our Awakening skill tree. On our Awakening skill tree, we are only going to lock the Grab. Now let's move on to our bomb selection. We are going to select Bone Close Quarter Suppress. On our skill Enlightenment tab, we're going to go for the first option. I've tried reading this like 5 times. You get it. Then we have Wave Blast. And the last one, Maraca Spiral of Dreams. This one, the third one, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. You are never ever going to use it, but so you can pick whatever you like. It's not that relevant. Finally, let's take a look on which skills to quick slot. From your Pre-Awakening tree, you are going to look for Tide's Kiss, and you are going to drag it to your quick slot. Then you are going to look for Overflow, drag it to your quick slot. Then you're going to look for Jetstream, and quick slot it. Now, on your Awakening tree, you are going to quick slot your Ebuff, you're going to quick slot lmao on deck, you're going to quick slot the secret weapon, and you are going to quick slot light them up. These are my to-go items for pretty much every spot. I sometimes change the Wind Piercer add-on for the Sun Shielder one, but usually like it's either this one or Sun Shielder with the exact same setup. I'm just going to leave a picture with the English names, and if you need, you can pause the screen to copy it. Now let's take a look very quickly at our Reforge Stones. For a basic setup, you are going to have your Black Spirit Rage Recovery, your back attack extra damage, your critical hit extra damage, your critical hit rate, and your OP Stone. However, depending on the spots, you are going to want to swap a couple things up in order to have better results. When we are talking about down attack spots, you are going to replace 2 critical hit rate stones for 2 down attack stones, down attack extra damage, and the third one you are going to replace 1 critical hit extra damage. Okay, so you're going to keep 1 critical hit rate stone and 2 critical hit extra damage, and you're going to exchange the other ones for 3 down attack extra damage. For the ones that are, if you're feeling like you were too squishy on the spot, you are dying too much, you can replace 2 critical hit rate stones for 2 DR stones. So you're going to replace only 2 of them, okay, you can't replace more than 2, for 2 DR stones. And on the third situation is that when you are already capped, you can drop the AP stones for down attack if you need down attack and if you already capped the spot, okay? Let's talk a little bit now about our DPS skills. So this is a priority list class. That means that you are you can have a loopable combo, but it's better to play it by priority. So throwing the big damage skills at the right time in order to obtain the most efficiency possible. Our combo is going to always start with something like Shift E SLMB. So Shift E SLMB. And this is going to be always our opening because Shift E has a DP debuff and SE has a crit rate up. So you're always going to be starting with it. After that, you're going to go by the order of priority. Our biggest hitting skills, which is F, is also an AP self buff. So you're going to be buffed with 20 AP in total. It's always good to start using this skill as soon as it goes off cooldown. There is a catch to this skill, which I'm going to explain later in the skill tree description if you want to skip there, but it's primordial that you use it whenever you can, okay? Following the F, our biggest hitting skills are going to be Crow's Mark, Wind Piercer, I forgot the English name, but it's the one that flows like it's the other knockdown. I will leave it in the description somewhere, I'm sorry. And then Earth Render. So it's going to look like something like this. Our secondary DPS, our support DPS, which are skills that still do good damage, but they don't have as much damage as the other one, would be our Anchor and the Flow, our Sun Shielder plus the Flow, the WRMB, and our Raban plus Magnus skill. The reason why I don't prioritize the Raban Magnus as much, it is because I don't know if it's up to you, but my pre-awakening weapon is not the same level as my awakening weapon. It's usually like one level below or 2 levels below, so you end up losing a little bit of DPS because those are pre-awakening skills, so they're going to use your main hand up instead of your awakening weapon. And that's why I don't prioritize them over the other stuff, even though the Magnus skill has more damage than the Anchor and the Sun Shielder and the other skills. We're going to take a better look, a more in-depth look at these individual set of skills to know what they're capable of in the next section, but for now, this is what you need to know. Now, for our tertiary damage, the damage that is going to support to make the whole kit come to life, you are going to have very specific skills. You're going to have Light 'em Up, and then you are going to have your Vortex skill, your Tide Splitter skill, the Overflow skill, and the Wave Breaker skill. So these are going to be your tertiary sources of damage. These skills, they don't really do a lot of damage compared to other skills, but they do have other roles. So this is basically what you need to do in order to come up with your combos and play the class in order to choose from. Let's now take a look at our beginner loopable combo. So when you are starting out, the inputs are a little bit difficult. Loopable combos can help you understand the basics of the class, and you can derive from there. So let's take a look on the combo. In this next section of the guide, we're going to take a look at some individual skills that have multiple animations or some tricks in order to make them more efficient. So now we're going to begin by talking about Crow's Mark. Crow's Mark is your Shift LMB skill, and it has 3 different animations. If you cast it from idle, you are going to get a small loading animation before the actual shot. If you cast the animation after either riding waves or smooth sailing, be it the normal standing ground version or the aerial version, and after spare no quarters, you are going to get a crouched animation. And finally, after every other skill from the kit, you are going to get a standing version but without the loading animation. Now let's talk about Pirate's Life. Pirate's Life is a skill that, again, just like Crow's Mark, it has 3 different animations, but this time is a little bit more complicated than the last one. So, starting from your stationary cast or your standalone cast, you're going to get this animation. Depending on from which skill do you cast, you are going to get either one of the 2 animations. The first, crouch, and then the second crouch. From the first crouch animation, you can change the second crouch animation, so it's going to look something like this. Now, what exactly is the problem with the Bird's Life animation? Is that the first crouch has half the hits of the other two animations. So if you accidentally use the first crouched version after one of the skills that trigger the animation, you are going to be losing half the damage of the skill because yes. So I'm going to leave in here in the video a picture of all the cancels, and unfortunately this is something that you are going to get it wrong until you stop getting wrong. There's nothing you can do about it. Just make sure to practice it so you don't use the wrong animation at the wrong time and you just lose your half of your damage on your best skill because PA hates us. In the past, Anchor used to be two skills, Captain Order's Open Fire and Captain Order's Cease Fire. These skills got merged, and now even though they used to act independently, they still can be used the same manner as they used to, but now it's all compounded in one skill. What happens is that if you hold Shift F, you are going to get this triggering animation. What's interesting about this triggering animation is that you can rotate the camera in order to hit the first hit on one object and the second hit on another. So for example, if I do it like this and then camera turn, the damage of the flow is going to hit on the second target instead of the first one. In one of the latest patches, Surface Slider got added as a cancel after Wind Piercer. That means that it gets about half the frames if being casted after Wind Piercer than it does from every other skill. It looks like this. It's important to notice that Surface Slider does not flow well into some skills, so it's better to use Earth Render or the iframe that I forgot the name again after it. It's Tide Splitter. I remember the name. I'm not that dumb. Noted. By the way, I'm just assuming that you guys know which skills I'm talking about because we are in the advanced part of the guide. If you don't know the names of the skills yet, that's okay. There is a cancel section in the Awakening Bible that I'm going to link in the description in case you were lost, and you can start from there. Now, let's take a look at our Sun Shooter plus Spernal Quarter skills. So the peculiarity of this skill is that you can back attack the mobs even if you are casting it from the front because of the way that skill gets casted. So if you cast it in front of a mob and then you camera turn, you are going to hit back attacks in both the Sun Shooter part and the Spernal Quarters part. Another interesting thing is that you can change the behavior of the skill in case the mobs turn and you no longer want to go for back attack with the camera turn. In this case, you can turn your back to the mobs and then your front again to hit the back attacks in case that they are going to turn during your mid skill. So it's going to look like this. And you're going to be casting it in place. We're going to go into the summons now. And the summons of this class are very complicated because they are bugged, but once you understand the mechanics of them, you don't really need to think about it, you just are going to go on about your day. But it's good to know how they work so you can avoid doing some mistakes, or you can avoid, I don't know, it's always nice to have more information, okay? Don't judge me. So Corsair has 4 different types of summons, and you can have a maximum of 5 summons at the same time out in the field. I'm going to explain how each one of them works separately, but we're going to begin explaining lmao, which is the one that once you summon, it's going to be walking around as our companion. So this little guy here is lmao. You're going to use an SA skill and he's going to pop. He doesn't really do anything until your HP drops below 50%. At 50%, he is going to heal you and give you a PA effect that has a cooldown of 10 minutes. So if you lose HP during the fight, you pop him up and he's going to heal you out. The reason why we don't use lmao as much for PvE is that he occupies 1 summon slot. So if you have him out, the maximum summons that you are going to get are 4 out at the same time. That means that your damage is going to get lowered, so you're going to save lmao for the situations in which you actually need healing. because once you are about to die, he's going to heal and then he's going to despawn. Now let's go over the other 3 summons that we have remaining. The other 3 summons, they are going to appear depending on which skill that you are going to use. Use Light 'em Up to summon them all at once at the same time. So it's going to look like this. Here's your cannon, here's the bomb, and the hand cannon is here. So the hand cannon and the bomb are going to disappear after a second, and the cannon itself is going to take about 60 seconds to despawn. Now, for a better understanding of the summons, we're going to have to take a look at the tooltip. As I've mentioned before, the summons can be summoned up to 5 times simultaneously. That means if you use too many skills that will overlap the summons, they are not going to spawn. There is a delay between the summoning of the skill, so the time that it takes for you to fire the skill, and the time that it takes for the summon appear. So sometimes the summon overlap might not be intentional, and you lose about 20% of your DPS from the summons because of this. This is something that you can't really control. So you have to deal with the fact that from time to time you will be losing damage because the game's good. Now, on the first part of the Code of the Scallywags, you have a list of which skills are going to summon which summons. You need this in order to understand which secret weapon you need to use in which situation. So your secret weapon is the icon that shows in your UI, and you have 3 secret weapons. You have the bomb that shows here in the bomb, you have the hand cannon, that is this one, and then you have the cannon, that is the other one that I'm going to show you now. So this is the cannon. And what the secret weapon does is that it adds additional damage to the skills that use the same icon as the one in the UI. For example, if you choose cannon, the skills that are going to get the extra damage are going to be No Mercy Scallywags and Captain Order's Open Fire. So since there's only one skill in the rotation that uses the secret weapon, this is basically useless, which means that you will be cycling either between bomb or between hand cannon. So bomb, it is the skill that it is the secret weapon that adds most extra damage per different skills. The issue with this is that the hand cannon has more damage and it is added to more to skills that you are going to use more often. And because of that, there are debates on which one you are going to use depending on the situation. Usually the bomb is better, but after the buff, you can make an argument for the cannon too. The hand cannon, sorry. One thing that is important to add is that the hand cannon has a technical failure. That means that sometimes when you are using a skill that has the hand cannon on it, and if you have the secret weapon on, the summons might fail. That means you are going to get a loading animation and it's going to be longer than the usual, and then you're not going to get the extra damage from the cannon, but you're still going to get the damage from the normal damage, the regular damage from the skill. Let's take a look now at our PvE Iframes. Our PvE Iframes are pretty standard. You are going to use shift any directional skill in order to dash. So one thing that is interesting about our PvE iframe is that it is very long, so you can dash it indefinitely. The only thing that you have to be aware of is that the ending of this animation around here, this is no longer a PvE iframe, so there is a gap in the end of the animation. Another thing that you can use as a PvE iframe is Jetstream. Jetstream is useful because it doesn't spend as much stamina as if you're regular dashing, but at the same time the beginning and the end of the animation are not PvE iframes. So if you need to save stamina because you are going to spend a lot of time in iframe, you could just use Jetstream, let it linger for a bit, and then use the flow, and then connect it with another iframe. It's important to notice that the aerial version of the PvE iframe, this one here, this animation, this is not a PvE iframe, so you're going to get damage during the SA part of it. So now let's take a look at our repositioning skills. These skills are very important because they allow you to reposition while dealing damage so you can continue the combo. We have 3 main skills to do that. The most important one being Vortex, your SQ skill. The second one is Side Splitter Patrika, your ASD plus F skill. And the third one, your Wave Breaker Patrika, being your AD or S LMB button. So Vortex is the highest damage from all the repositioning skills. It can be used to slide to the back of the mobs. It is, however, the wonkiest of the skills, as it's supposed to have no collision, but most of the time it collides with the mobs, so you are going to get back attacked yourself sometimes, so you have to be ready to improvise in case that happens. It does, however, provide some very good damage. Tide Splitter is the safest option between all the repositioning skills because it's also an iframe, even though the end of it it's super armor and it's not protected by PvE Iframes, so by the end of it you are going to get hit if the mobs are hitting you. It flows from the pre-awakening to the awakening and it does some decent damage in order for it to be used. And the third option, the Wavebreaker Patrocom, is for those times when either Tide Splitter or Light 'em Up are on cooldown, as it also swaps you from your pre-awakening to your awakening stance. However, this skill does very little damage, so the only situation that you are going to be using it is when both Tide Splitter and Light 'em Up are on cooldown, and you need to swap from your pre-awakening to your awakening weapon. So the last thing that I'm going to teach you today is going to be about our BSR, our Ebuff, and our 25% BSR buff. These three, they give an important stat, which is attack speed. However, they do not overlap with each other. So if by the time you are watching this video, you're still consuming your rage while we buffing at the same time, stop! Don't do that. Stop what you're doing. That's just a waste of time. Like, you are going to always either use your 100% BSR or Ebuff. You're never going to use them at the same time. As for the 25%, it gives you the same version as the 100% BSR, except it was only the attack speed. So you're going to use in those situations where you're not going to have access to the 100%, but you still want to benefit from the attack speed that the buff gives you. So this is it. We have concluded the guide. Yay! I tried to teach you everything that I know about this class. If I have forgotten something, there's probably a written version somewhere in one of the guides. And it's a lot of content to keep up nowadays. Like, if you still have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Like, we've always started somewhere. It's difficult for all of us. I have no problems answering the questions. If you want, you can join my Discord, or you can hang around on Corsair Discord, or I've been hanging around a lot on Netherrat's Discord as well too. So, you know, it's not easy. It's not hard to find me if you want to. But appreciate the comments and the things, etc. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next. Happy grinding!